Good morning, my children, and welcome to the review of the teacher Jacob. Okay, so remember once again, why is it important to make all of these reviews? ¿Por qué creen que sea importante repasar todos estos temas nuevamente? Because in this form we are going to be able to remember them and never forget them. Para que de esta forma recordemos todo lo que a lo mejor ya se nos olvidó y así ya nunca se nos olvide, okay? Now, the review of today, my children, is part of the alphabet. Vamos a ver nuevamente partes del alfabeto. Remember that previously we worked with the letters associated with animals. Recuerden que ya habíamos comenzado nuestro repaso en donde las letras del abecedario las asociábamos con animales. Now, during this review of the vocabulary of the letters, we saw new animals. Okay, do you remember some of the new animals that we saw on the previous review? ¿Recuerdan algunos de los nuevos animales que vimos en nuestro repaso? Okay, the goat. Do you remember what is a goat? La cabra. Also the jellyfish. Do you know what is a jellyfish? Okay, una medusa. What about the hedgehog? Okay, very good. Remember the hedgehog is like the Sonic character. Let's see. Another animal that you remember, the jack also, that is all covered in hair. Está muy peludo, the jack. Okay, very good. Excellent. I am very happy because you memorized some of the new animals. Now, today we're going to make an exercise that is based on the alphabet. Now, this exercise here is interesting because here, as you can see, we're missing some letters. Nos hacen falta algunas letras. So, we're going to go back to the beginning of the alphabet and we're going to see what are those missing letters. Once we find them and locate them, ya que sepamos cuáles son las que nos hacen falta, we are going to write them. In the case of the teacher, I am going to write them on the whiteboard. In your case, you are going to write them on the sheet of paper that you have. Ustedes las van a anotar en las hojas que ustedes tienen de su trabajo, hojas de trabajo, y el teacher en el pizarrón. For this, remember, if you want to work along with me, si quieren trabajar en sincronía conmigo, junto al teacher, you have 5 seconds to be ready with your sheet of paper and your pencil case. Tienen 5 segundos para tener a la mano su hoja de trabajo y su estuchera. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. Now, let's begin. Remember, for this, I am going to say the alphabet, and then we have to see what's the missing letter. So, the activity of today is divided in two. We have the first exercise, and we have a similar one, but with different missing letters, okay? Tenemos debajo uno similar al primero, pero con diferentes letras que hacen falta. So, let's concentrate first on the number 1. So, we have the letter A, okay? After the letter A, what's the next letter? The letter B, very good. Then we have letter C. What's the next letter? What's the missing letter here? The letter D. The letter of Diego. After the letter D, we have letter E. After letter E, letter F. The letter of fish, of Fernando. Let's continue with the letter G, of girl. After the letter G, the letter of hedgehog. Do you remember the letter? Letter H. Then we have letter I of Indian. And after letter I, what's the next letter? The letter of teacher Jacob. Letter J. Now, also Also, something that I forgot to mention and it's very important, remember my children, that all of the letters have two forms, capital letters and small letters. For these two exercises, we are working only with small letters, okay? Very good. Now, we have small k. After small k, what's the next letter? Small L of lemon, okay? After small L, we have a small M, and then small N. Very good, excellent. Now, after small N, what's the next letter? Small O, and then small P. After small p, we have small q, okay, of quail. Do you remember what is a quail? La codorniz, very good. After small q of quail, what's the next letter? R. Letter R. Okay? Now, after small r, small s. After small s, small t. Okay, very good. Small t. After small t, small u of unicorn. After small u of unicorn, small v. Small v, very good. Now, after small v, what's the next letter? Small w. Okay, after small w, small x of X-ray fish. Do you remember the X-ray fish? The fish that we can see what's inside. Cuando podemos ver qué hay adentro de ese cuerpo. Okay, the bones, for example, we have X of X-ray fish. Then we have small y of the jack animal, and finally small z of zebra. Very good. So we have completed the entire alphabet. Hemos terminado nuestro alfabeto. Okay? It wasn't that difficult, it was pretty easy. Okay? Remember, it's very important that you practice it every day. Now, let's continue with the second exercise. Once again, let's see what are the missing letters. We commence with letter small a. After small a, what's the next letter? Small b. Okay. After small b, small c. Okay. After small c, small d. After small d, small e of elephant. Then small f, very good, excellent, of fish. Small g, okay, of giraffe, that's another animal. After small g, small h. After small h, what's the next letter? Small I, of Indian, of Irma. After small I, what's the next letter? Small j, like the teacher, Jacob. After small j, small k of koala. Do you remember the koala? Koalas are similar to monkeys, don't forget that. Small k. After small k, we have a small m. After small l, what's the next letter? Small m of mouse. After small m, small n. Very good. After small n, small o. Okay, very good. After small o, small p of penguin. After small p, small q of quail. After small q, small r. Okay, after small r, small s of snake. Remember the snake? It's another animal that we saw previously. After small S of snake, small T of turtle or tortoise. Remember the tortoise and the turtle are similar. It means tortuga. After small T, small U of unicorn. After small U, small V of vulture. Do you know what is a vulture? A buitre. After small V of vulture, small W. After small W, small X of X-ray fish. And after small X, small Y of Jack, of Jojo. And finally, the last letter of the whole alphabet, small Z of zebra, of zombie. Remember zombies? Very good, my children. So, that's it for today, my children. Remember, it's very important that not just for today, but constantly, every day, or the free time that you have, el tiempo libre que ustedes tengan, o constantemente, you review the entire alphabet, because also in the future, we are going to make dictation. En el futuro haremos dictado, so that's why it's very important that all of the letters, you remember them and memorize them. So, take care, and as always, the teacher Jacob loves you very much. Goodbye.